Hi, as promised, here we are with part 2 of Drunkard's Path with Invisible Machine Applique. As promised, we're now going to talk about setting up our machines to do the perfect invisible stitch. There's a few things that we're going to need to discuss, but first I want you to realize that I can only give you a general idea on how to set up your machine because, as you know, machines are so different today. There's different layouts and different stitches available, but I'm hopefully going to give you enough information that you can find the stitch that will work best on your machine. Okay? The stitch we're going to be looking for on our machine is what's called the blind hem stitch. Now this is a stitch that should be available on every machine. The blind hem stitch is a series of straight stitches with little jumps. Straight stitches with little jumps. It's what's on your machine to put up hems on curtains and skirts, and we've adapted it a little bit now to make it an applique stitch. When your machine first stitches this, it will be quite large and quite long. We're going to shorten the stitch and the width on it to make it a nice tiny stitch. If you don't have a blind hem stitch on your machine, you might have what's called a buttonhole or an applique stitch. A lot of the machines have this today, and that creates an equally lovely stitch. Either one will work just fine. If you have a stitch that is a stretch blind hem, which is little zigzags in between the big zigzags, that's not really as good. And unfortunately, a few machines do have that today. You can try adjusting with it and you just might be lucky, but it's not really the optimum. If you find that you're not able to adjust to a perfect stitch, you can always use the long, narrow zigzag. It's not perfect, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick now, isn't it? So one of these stitches, but preferably the blind hem stitch. Okay? Now on my machine, the blind hem stitch is number 7. So I'm going to press that button and my machine comes up showing me that I've got the blind hem stitch. It also has what's called default setting, which means it has chosen a width and a length for me that it thinks is best. It also is telling me to put the blind hem foot on my machine, but we don't want the blind hem foot. Instead, I highly recommend that you use what's called an open toe foot. Now, an open toe foot is just what it says. Instead of having a bar across the front, it's completely open, which means you have perfect vision when you're stitching. And we're going to be doing a very small stitch with invisible thread. You want to be able to see the edge of your applique so you can put those stitches in exactly the right place. Almost every machine has an open toe available. If you have a clear foot, you'll find that there still is a bar here. You can cut that off and remove it to give yourself the open toe. On Bernina's, it's a number 20, but you can buy generic open toe feet for almost any machine. We are going to be using the blind hem reduced stitch and the open toe foot. We're going to be using the number, well, I like a number 80 denim jeans needle. And insofar as thread, the important thread that we're going to need is an invisible thread. Now, it's probably quite hard to see this thread. I'm not expecting that you can. It's a monofilament thread that matches whatever color your fabrics are, so it will blend with your light and your dark fabrics. This brand, which is by YLI, happens to be a nylon thread. It has a little bit of a stretch to it. Other brands use polyester. You find the one that you like best. I've always been happy with this one, but I don't use it in the bobbin. I only put it on the top of the machine. So I have begun by filling my bobbin with a light colored thread that will match in my background. I'm using a 60 weight Mettler thread here. The 60 weight thread is just a little bit thinner, which works nicely with the invisible thread, but you can always also use a 50 weight thread, and probably the 50 weight thread is what you have in your sewing box. Start with this. If it doesn't work for you, move on to a 60 weight thread. There are several thread manufacturers who make it now, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. So I'm going to put this thread into my bobbin casing. If you have a front-loading bobbin casing, and you may have a little extra finger here on your machine, I like to put my thread through that because it gives a little extra pull on the tension. If you have drop-in bobbins, you might want to tighten your drop-in bobbin a little bit, but I wouldn't do anything until you begin your stitching. So my bobbin is in with the 60 weight thread. I have the machine threaded at the moment with the same thread that's in the bobbin. Now you're probably wondering why. The reason is we are going to start adjusting the stitch, and if you have the invisible thread in to begin with, you can't see it. So we are going to use a cotton thread, which will make it a lot easier for you to see. I've taken a piece of solid fabric here and I've just pressed a little fold into it. I'm going to pretend this is the edge of my applique and that's my background. I'm going to slide this under the foot and I'm going to begin stitching. Now the machine has chosen a width and a length that it likes, but don't forget, it thinks it's hemming curtains. Straight stitches go right next to the fold. The bite comes over and stitches on the fold. You may have to find with your machine exactly where the stitching falls. You may need to move it a little bit under the foot. I also like to use the needle down position on my machine so that whenever I want to look at my stitches, I can just turn it around, pivot, and see what the stitches look like. Well, in this case, the stitches are way too big. The length is how far apart they are from each other, and the width is how deep the bite is. My machine says that the length is on 2.4 and the width is on 3.4. So I'm going to take both of those down. I'm going to take the width down to about 2.5. I'm going to take the length down to 2. And now I'm going to do a little bit more stitching to see how that looks. It's all trial and error, and it's really worth your taking the time to stitch and look, because everyone will have a slightly different setting. How your machine sews, how you perceive the stitch, it'll all be a little different. For me, that's still too big. Let's take the width down again. I'm going to go really low now. I've actually gone down to about 1 on the width and 1 on the length, and I think you'll see now. See, it's hardly moving forward. The bite is quite tiny. This looks like it could be a really good stitch. Stop, flip, take a look. That looks pretty good to me. It's quite tiny, and you're probably not even going to be able to see very much with that. It's a very small stitch, a very small bite, and it's very close together. That's the sort of thing we want for invisible machine applique. Now I know my length is 1 and my width is 1.1, so I'm going to write that down somewhere, because you don't want to have to go through this process every time you're stitching. But we're not going to be stitching with the cotton thread, we're going to be stitching with an invisible thread. So I'm going to take my cotton thread off the machine and put the invisible thread on. Be careful when you're threading with the invisible thread. It's very, very slippery and it's hard to see. I'm going to put it on the machine, carefully get it through every slot. You notice with my right hand, I like to hold on to the thread while I'm letting it go through the machine. It gives me just a little bit of tension to make sure that the thread goes into every slot. And now for the fun part, trying to find an invisible thread to go into an invisible hole on a silver needle. Not exactly the easiest thing in the world. There you go. If you have a threader on your machine, it'll probably be a lot easier to do. So I've got the invisible on the top, I've got the cotton on the bobbin. Yep, everything should be ready to go. Many of you today will have a horizontal feed on your sewing machines, and the thread goes fine on the horizontal feed, but I find this brand with this unique spool is much happier on a vertical feed. Try it both ways, see how it works for you, but if you are going to put it on the horizontal feed, I would put it this way. That way the thread will feed off the back and you'll have less chance of the thread breaking. Now I'm going to go back to my sample piece. I'm going to go to another fold and I'm going to do my first invisible stitches. I haven't changed the settings. I've left them exactly the same as I had before. We're going to see how this looks. Well, I think it looks brilliant. You're probably not seeing anything, which is the idea. It's invisible. If you saw something, it wouldn't be working, would it? Monofilament on the top, cotton in the bobbin, blind hem stitch, producing a perfect invisible stitch. If when you're doing it, you find that you're seeing little bits of cotton thread coming through onto the top, you will either reduce your upper tension or tighten your bobbin tension. And I know a lot of you are very apprehensive about changing tension in your bobbin. If you don't like doing that, you might want to buy a separate bobbin casing and use that to make your changes with. It's not going to harm the machine, no matter what horror stories your salesman has told you. The machines are meant to be adjusted, and they can adjust very easily. It's always just small increments. And remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So if you want that thread to stay down, turn it to the right, tight. If you want more of it coming to the top, left, loose. It's as easy as that. So now I have my background square. I have my piece that I prepared this in the first half, my drunkard's path with the freezer paper still in place, the starch holding the edges over, and I can put it on. You may want to pin it. Some people like to pin. I'm not much of a pinner, to be honest. Wastes too much time. So I'm just going to put it in place, put this under the machine, make sure that my straight stitches are falling on the red background fabric, and only the bites are going over onto the fold. Stitch, 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 bite. Stitch, 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 bite. All the way around. You don't need to force it, just guide the machine and let it stitch. Think of all the time you're saving, not having to pin and match. It's dead easy and it works every time. Right? There we go. I take my needle up, take the piece out. I'll now go to the reverse side. I'm going to cut the background fabric away because, of course, with the light color, I don't want that red showing through. So I'm going to cut that background fabric away. I'm going to release my freezer paper. I'm going to try to release my freezer paper. If you find that your freezer paper does not come off as easy as you'd like, it's a good idea to take it back, press it again with the hot iron, and you'll find that the freezer paper comes off all that much easier. Simple it comes out, and you have a perfect drunkard's path. Couldn't be easier, could it? You don't know when you look at this whether it's been hand or machine done. It looks great, it wears well. All of these quilts have been used many, many times and washed. It's a nice sturdy technique and easy to do. You can also use it for lots of other things. Bias stems, your general applique. It is a technique that has been tried and true. It works really well. All you have to do is give yourself a few minutes to try it. If you feel that what I've told you now is spinning around in the head and you have a few questions, well, why not have a look at one of my books? I've written 2 books on the subject, Invisible Machine Applique and Invisible Machine Applique and Beyond. They are both books that have the beginning technique in it. This one has a little bit more insofar as talking about threads and needles and things that you might want to use in the rest of your patchwork and quilting. This is a beginner book. Both of them have patterns for lots and lots of other quilts that you can make, lots of reference information, lots of tips to make your patchwork and quilting easier, because this is fun. We enjoy doing this. We want to have a good time and not have to worry about gray hairs and frustration. Invisible Machine Applique can be something you can add to your quilting repertoire and use day in and day out. If you prefer, there is a DVD as well. If you don't mind listening to this accent for 2 hours, it's all in here. And all of these can be bought on the website. The information is there for you to see. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I appreciate your time and attention. I hope you'll do lots of wonderful Invisible Machine Applique. Thank you.